I feel like after going through something really hard, the person you come out on the other side of it is almost just, you've got a bit more vim, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want it a bit more, yeah, you do have a bit more
You're
grit.
resilient.
Today I want to talk about challenges that we faced, I guess, up until this point, and hurdles we've had to overcome.
I'm someone who struggles with depression a lot, but I also have a condition called depersonalization. I don't know if either of you have heard of it.
Do you mind explaining what that is?
It's basically where your brain disconnects, like kind of pulls out to deal with a stressful situation or with trauma. For me, it happened after a traumatic year, and now my brain, unfortunately, I think is stuck in it. So I'm just constantly spaced out. My memory's really bad. I have trouble remembering where I am. It's just really annoying. Feels like I'm dreaming all the time. It's definitely been a struggle in my job, in my life, in my social life.
Wow.
I think it's amazing that you've been able to kind of openly talk about that, because I feel like it takes strength. Do you feel like it's, and is this a weird question, but like helps with your creativity? I know that sounds weird, but
no, it's okay. I think it's opened up my mind in a way I never knew it could go, and that's obviously painful a lot of the time, but I think I'm definitely grateful for having an outlet in like exploring my mental health. It's now, I think, intertwined with who I am and what I write about.
I think that's such a good thing though. I feel like it's starting to be the case more now, but people aren't talking enough about mental health in their music and so outwardly.
Especially with this lockdown, I mean, my mental health, I can say, hasn't been the best in terms of, you know, as upcoming artists, it's all about momentum and keeping things going and performing, and suddenly you're just like closed off to any shows.
Yeah.
My sister's still able to do her accountancy work, but I'm here like a year behind, I feel like.
But you're not a year behind, because it's important to remember that everybody's in the same boat, and like you just got to see it as just like a musical break. Like you have this feeling like you don't want to be left behind, but I think everyone's in the same boat, and like no one's doing gigs, so like you can find solace in that.
I've learnt new skills, like I've learnt how to vocal produce, I've learnt how to do so much at home.
You might not have done that before.
I wouldn't have learned. Actually, now I feel like another pandemic, whatever may happen, like we can get by and we can adapt.
It reminds me of when you go through a breakup or something hard.
I feel like after going through something really hard, the person you come out on the other side of it is almost just, you've got a bit more vim, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want it a bit more, yeah, you do have a bit more
You're
grit.
resilient.
Yeah, there's so much rejection that comes in life. It's just a natural part of life. Like you're never gonna get everything that you go for, but I think every loss is a lesson, and you just learn something from it, and you're like, okay, how can I be better? Or like, why didn't I get that thing maybe? I remember my mum took me to audition for The Sound of Music, and bless little me, I went down like with my little self on the stage, and I was like the only black person there. Like I sang the little song, and I didn't get it. But at that time it was like, there's no black girls in The Sound of Music, so like you weren't gonna get the role. And I think I had to learn at an early age that you are gonna get rejected sometimes, and sometimes it's out of your control, but I think it just made me stronger and just made me think, okay, I'm gonna find another path then. I'm gonna find another way around.
The mistakes I've made have really shaped me and changed me. And yeah, I think I've never felt regret that strong before, and yet at the same time I'm grateful that I went through it, because I've changed, I've learned.
I would say a great piece of advice that I read somewhere is that no feeling is final, and like however you're feeling, you'll always feel differently. So even though when you're in it is good and bad, but when you're in a hole of feeling like, oh my God, I just feel so awful, and like I don't see how I'm not gonna feel like this, you always do feel differently.
Life is infinite.
I love that though.
Things
You're gonna
that can
go
happen
through
and change.
all these emotions.
Even the happiness won't stay there, and that's the thing. Is we're not just one line.
Yeah.
It's like that's what
everything is
life is.
temporary.
Yeah.
My best friend always says hair grows. That's the one thing we know, like hair grows. And I think, you know, like if I have a bad haircut, she's like, well, we know one thing, hair grows.
It does.
Hair grows. Time changes, people change, you change. Like, yeah, I mean, the amount of situations I've been in where I'm like, this is it forever. I'm up against a wall and it will always be that way. And then like life goes on as it does, and just like everything grows, everything grows.
It's important to actually remind people that speaking is it sounds so simple, but speaking is so important. Talk to your friend, because people care and people want to help, and a problem shared is a problem halved.